Okay, so I want to quickly give you an overview of PowerSchool and the new PowerTeacher. So to access PowerTeacher, go ahead and go to this website right here, ps.muids.mahidol.ac.th. You should reach this page. If that's hard to remember, you can always go to our main school website, muids.mahidol.ac.th, and you can go up here on the quick links. Sorry, we can go up here on the quick links, and there is a link for the teachers right here, so you can click on that and that should take you to the same page. But I'm just going to show it to you from here. Please make sure it says teacher sign in here. I keep seeing a lot of requests where teachers are trying to log into the student portal, so that's usually a problem. Go ahead and bookmark this page at your own leisure. So I'm going to sign in here really quickly and just show you everything you can do with GradeBook. With PowerTeacher. So this is kind of like an all-in-one solution. You can take attendance, you can look up student information, you can write them attendance, and you can write them recommendations and do a whole lot of other things. But what I want to go over today mainly is something called PowerTeacher Pro. So for those of you who are familiar with the system from previous years, we use something called GradeBook. So GradeBook has been replaced now, and we're going to use PowerTeacher Pro. And you can launch PowerTeacher Pro directly from these links right here, if you would. But you could also just launch PowerTeacher Pro from the navigation bar, which is over here. So let's just, if I launch it from up here from one of these links, it'll take me into the class directly. So let's use this AP Computer Science class as an example. So I'm going to go ahead and click into my AP Computer Science class. And when you open it, you might not see anything in here. You might just see a blank screen. That's fine. By the way, if you want to switch between classes, the navigation menu is up here, so you can now switch between any of your classes. So right now I'm in AP Computer Science. I can switch to Computer Technology. See, it changes. I'm going to go back and switch back to AP Computer Science. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to talk to you about this setting right here, and I want you to go ahead and click on Display Settings, because there's some things we can change here that'll make our life easier. If you go to Display and Sorting, make sure you change it to Section Number, Sort by Course or Custom Name. If you want, you can also just sort by Section Number. Up to you, either or. It's just really nice to just be able to see all the section numbers up ahead. So I know I'm teaching 1001, 1002, 1006, 1012. It's all in order, and it's nice to have it like that. The second thing you want to do is you want to make sure you select Show Traditional Grades, just like it's shown here, and Value to Show on Traditional Grades column. You should select grade and percentage. That's just what we require for record keeping. Make sure you also unselect standards usage. Now, we do actually do a lot of standard-based grading. We just don't use it for PowerSchool. Okay. One of the things that I want you to do is go ahead into display, and this is life-changing. You want to change this from last name, first name to last, first, and middle. We use the middle name field to tell us the students' nicknames, and I think it's super useful to have it set up this way. Okay, so once you're done, go ahead and click Save at the bottom here. Okay, so the very first thing I want you to do once you've gotten into PowerSchool is click on the Grading tab and go ahead and click on Categories. So as you can see, we have a couple of categories added for you. So by default, you should have class, project, quiz, and test. Of course, you may need a few more. To add multiple categories, and this is basically going to decide how the grades of each of the students are going to be calculated. Go ahead and click Create up here, and you can create an assignment, or you can create a category. Since I want to show you how to do categories, I'm just going to click there. And you can call your category whatever you want. So for example, if I wanted to, I could create a category called Exam. All right, I can choose a color for it, completely not important. Maybe I make it orange, it doesn't really matter. And I could give this category a brief description. Corner here, you can decide which of these classes this category applies to. So for me, I just wanted to apply to this AP Computer Science class, so I will just do that for now. You can set up some assignment defaults. I'm not going to go through this because I think it's not too important. So you can say every time you use this category, your assignment you create can have a default point. I'm just not going to go through that. Okay, you can also view all your categories all at once, just so you can see, what's existing in this class. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on category. So there you go, exam. And when I'm ready to create a category, I'm going to click save. Oh, category name is in use. Okay, of course. Sorry, let me just call it something else like participation. My bad. Okay, all right, and click save. So now you can see that I've created this category participation. So now I kind of want to talk to you about how you want to set up your grades. Go ahead and go into settings and go ahead and click on traditional grade calculation. Okay, once you're here, you'll see you have semester 1 and semester 2 for each of your classes. You'd have to do this for all your classes. I'm just going to show it to you for one really quickly. What we're going to do right now is go ahead and set up semester 1. So in semester 1, let's assume that I want my class to have 3 categories. The very first is going to be projects, and the second one is, again, a category, and it's going to be quizzes, and my third category is going to be tests, projects, quizzes, and tests. Okay, very, very lame. But I can go ahead and I can adjust these weights as I see fit. So for example, in my class, projects is going to be 40%. And, maybe quizzes is only going to be 10%. And we'll make this 20%. You can see that, okay, so 40, 10, and 20, 70 doesn't quite add up to 100. Just to keep this kind of simple and clear, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add another category, go ahead and click category weights, and add something like participation, and my participation in this class is going to be 30%. Okay, so quick note here, make sure that these weights add up to 100, okay? If you like working in decimal numbers, you can make sure they add up to 1. That's fine too, up to you. But again, another quick note here is you need to make sure that when you're setting up these categories, that if there are multiple teachers teaching the same class, they all should have the same grade setup. Now, we don't have to make these category weights. We could use standard weightings and total points collectively, but the way that we here at MUIDS do our gradings is using category weights. So make sure you're only using category weights and nothing else. And then go ahead and when you're ready, make sure you click save. And you get it really quickly. You get some writing here. It basically says category weights. You can click on edit at any point in time and just check your category weights. All right. You'd have to set up semester 2 exactly the same way. An easy way of doing that might be to just go up and click here and go copy traditional grade calculations within a class. So I'm going to choose there and say reporting term, S1 category weighting, and I'm going to copy it to S2. Okay, and because I've done it like this, recalculate final grades, because I've done it like this, it's a really quick way. As soon as I click validate, you should see, and click done, you can see that my S2 is automatically set up for me. So there you go, and you can see, there you go, my S2 is just set up exactly like S1 was set up. Now if for example I teach 4 grade 10 classes, if I just wanted to copy it to the entire class, I'd just do the same thing, click on the settings button right here, go copy traditional grade setup, just go to another class, and now I'll just do the same thing. I'll go semester 1 of this class to go semester 1 of, and I can just go ahead and select all these classes. And that would set up all my semester 1s for all those classes, like bam, super easy. So once you've got your category set up, the next thing you need to kind of be focused on is like, okay, we've got the display the way we want it. It should display the student names. We've got our category set up so we know how our grades are going to be calculated. The next thing you want to do is obviously you want to go ahead and you want to deal with grading. But before we grade, we need to create some assignments. So I have created some basic assignments here. I've got an assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3. You can see this one, assignment 1 has a check mark next to it because I've put in sample grades for it. I can just go ahead and click create, click assignment. I can show you how to make another assignment really quickly. So I select the class. That's the class that I want it to be in. ePortfolio assignment. just as an example. Okay, I apparently can't spell. Portfolio assignment, that's fine. So I have to make sure that I select a category. Now, you have to be careful, all right, because we didn't set up all these categories in our category weights, right? We set up projects, quizzes, tests, and participation. We didn't set up test 1, test 2, and classwork. So make sure you select a category that's actually going to be used to calculate the grades in this class. Okay, so for example, projects. Now let me show you, let's say your ePortfolio assignment is a project, which could be, I suppose. You want to go ahead and you have 3 options here. You have percentage, letter grades, and collected only. Collected only basically doesn't give the student a grade, but I recommend you stick with points or percentage. It's up to you how you do it. But you have to decide how many points the score is going to be out of. You could assign additional points by clicking this button right here. So for example, let's say ePortfolio is out of 3. If someone has something really exceptional, I mean, maybe I'll give them 3 extra points. I could also change the weightage. I recommend you don't change the weightage of anything, but if you need to, it is there. You can change the weightage. If you want to remove the extra points, you just click on this again. If you want to remove the weightage, you just click on this again. Include in final grade. If you don't want this to affect the student's grade, then don't put it in. If you want it to affect the student's grade, go ahead and put it in. Dates, very important. Make sure every time you have a due date, you get the dates correctly, because it will determine whether those grades are calculated towards semester 1 or semester 2. Okay, what we recommend in general is if you have a large assignment, which is a large project, you should leave a brief description of that project here, and you have some formatting tools to go with it. I'm not particularly going to go through these things really, all of this. So we're not going to use the standards tab. You can publish scores right away, or if you just want to kind of work on it in your own time for now, you can unselect this button. Okay. All right. So go into assignments. This is all set up. I'm just going to write sample description right here. Okay. And you can have it bold, and notice that the students and parents can see this. So it's just a nice way to kind of communicate with your students. And I'm going to click save and close. Okay, so there you go. I get a little message up there saying assignment, portfolio assignment created successfully. Now, if I want to see where all the assignments are, I could go to grading and I can click on assignment list, and it shows me all the different assignments, and it shows me what category each of them are in. So I can see this is in project, this is in test, this is in test, this is in test. All right, so what I'm going to do now is go back to grading, and I'm going to click on Scoresheet. So the Scoresheet will give you a brief overview of all the assignments that you have created. You can see this one right here, portfolio assignment. This is the one that I just created. If I click on here and click on go to assignment, it kind of just clears my screen of all distractions, and I can just focus on this assignment, which is just really nice. If I want to go back, I'll always just go back to Scoresheet, and that will take me back, and I'll be able to see all the assignments. So just like usual, you can put in assignments here. You have a little calculator tool here to put in your scores for your assignments. So yeah, you can either type in the numbers, or you can use the number pad. You can also, there's a range of markings that you can do. So you can mark it missing, you can mark it collected, you can mark it late, you can mark it, and you can use the fill tools to fill grades top to bottom. More on that to come soon. You can mark it incomplete or exempt. Or you can just say, okay, the student will absent today, so you didn't do it. So for example, let me just go ahead and give these kids some random grades. So let's say 5, 5. Now, what I can do is I can select this 5, and I can click this fill arrow, and notice what it does for me is it fills all the 5s. It fills all the students of 5. And then I can go ahead and I can kind of change some of them. So for example, let's say I want to take this 5 and I want all, let's say there's some empty fields, students that I haven't graded yet, and I want all the empty fields to become a 5. I can just click on this button, and I can click this fill button, and you notice that the fields that were empty that didn't have a grade in it already are now filled with 5s. Okay, so those are useful ways. Now, let's say the student did really exceptional or the student did really poorly right here. If we want to kind of leave that student some feedback, you can do it right here. So, sample feedback. It's not required, but I like to, if a student did something that went really, really, really wrong, I like to leave the student some feedback. And if the student did something that was, over and above and beyond my rubrics and my expectations, I'd like to leave them some feedback for that as well. And this is any feedback that you leave down in the comment section here is instantly accessible to the student and to the parent of that student as well. And when you're ready, go ahead and click save. I'm not going to click save on the bottom left-hand corner, only because I don't want my students to see these grades, but whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and click save. So the comments for the individual assignments are obviously optional, but we do have to actually write students' comments. Now, okay, I'm actually just gonna go ahead and hit save, just because I want the final grades to be calculated, just so I can show you how this stuff works. So if you look at the grades here, MUIDS does something called a progress report, which means that you need to leave the student a feedback if they are at risk of failing your class. And we do it mid-semester for both semester 1 and semester 2. So when you are doing that, what we actually have to do is, you can see their overall final grade being calculated once you've entered their grades and clicked save. You can click on the letter grade instead of clicking on the letter here. I can click on a letter grade. So for example, this student, let's say, is about to fail, and I could leave them a progress report. Now, a progress report usually has this very formal structure that we like to stick to. Something which is positive about the student, and then you can leave them some criticism, and then you can tell them how they can improve. You can be as detailed as you'd like. You don't have to leave these comments for every single student, but it's required that you leave a comment for every student who is a D or below. Okay? All right, you can see that this is all very similar to the gradebook. It's just laid out in a slightly different order, a slightly different manner, and maybe in a more intuitive fashion as well. So hopefully that is helpful. If you'd like to print out reports, I know a lot of you like to do this, so go ahead and click on reports, and you can print out a student roster. But I'm not going to show you the student roster today. You can try it on your own. I'm going to talk to you about Scoresheet report, because at the end of every semester, we require the teachers to print out their grades and hand them in physically to the registrar, just in case we crash and burn down. We have a backup of everything we need. So go ahead and click on Scoresheet report. And this should be very simple. Basically, what you want to do at the end of semester is just select all your classes. Go ahead and select every single class on this list, and go ahead and click student fields. So student name, student number, it doesn't really matter. Either or is fine. Name is preferred. Gradebook preference, doesn't matter. Select categories. Make sure you just go ahead and select all the categories. So I'm just going to do it right here really quick. And select reporting term. So at the end of semester 1, you want to just do semester 1, and at the end of semester 2, you want to go ahead and either do all or just do semester 2. Either or is fine, because you would have already had your semester 1 in record. Okay, so just as an example, I'm going to show you this for one class. So I'm going to go back to select classes, and I'm going to make sure that that one's selected. Yeah, let me just double check all these fields. Okay, looks good. Looks good. All right, S1 final grades. All right, that's good. And when you're ready, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and click Run Report. As you run the report is going to be run. And if you go up here again, go back into reports, you can sort of see that it's doing something, which means it's working. Once it's done, it will stop running your report. This shouldn't take too long. It should take about a minute. And you'll be able to see it if you go into this View Reports tab. Okay. So I have a Scoresheet report right here. If I click on it, it downloads that Scoresheet onto my computer. And if I click on that file, you can see I have a Scoresheet here. Well, obviously, this is just a sample Scoresheet, but this is something that you'll need to print out at the end of every semester and make sure you hand it in to our registrar so she can store them permanently. Okay, let me really quickly go over this tab because this tab is great. If you go on progress and click on traditional, you can have a really quick analytical view on how your students are doing. So I can see in my AP Computer Science class, I can see 3 of my students are doing all right, and 10 of my students are way below what's expected. You get some quick statistics on how many pieces of work in this class were missing, how many lates, and how many incompletes. This should give you a better understanding of your class, and hopefully it leads to some reflective practices. It's like a quick dashboard. The last thing I want to show you before I go is if you click on your name up here, you'll be able to change the size of your UI, and I like to have it enlarged because I'm not, my eyes aren't great anyway. But yeah, that's that. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign out and just leave you on this page. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. My email will be popping up on the next slide right about. Thank you very much. Welcome to MUIDS. I hope you have a great year.